Hey guys, this is Devin, Boostin_DC. So today I figured I'd make a little video because I was doing some research and I really couldn't find too much on the Brembos and how to separate them and what's inside of them. I'm going to get mine repowder coated, so I figured I'd make this little short video, just an introduction. It's really not too bad to do this. There is a couple things I want to let you guys know about these when taking them apart. A couple issues that I'm sure a lot of STI guys a lot of Brembo guys know about. Some common problems, I guess. The first is the threads where the bolts mount to the bolts go in to mount to the spindle. These strip out very easy. I'm sure a lot of STI guys and a lot of guys know about this. So yeah, just be careful. They don't really need to be, hawked down to where they, are balls ass tight. But definitely keep them lubricated and don't go crazy on them. They'll be fine. Second, the Brembos, being two pieces, have two bleeder screws on each side. They're up here, and then they have a spot for another one, but it's plugged off on both sides. So mine were so tight that they were so tight and they weren't ever used, and they were actually pulling the threads out of the caliper itself, also damaging the bleeder screw. Luckily, I didn't have any break off, but it was damaging the threads as it came out. So just be careful every now and then. Maybe if you want to, crack those, just keep them lubricated. That way you don't have any problems down the road. Or if you, change your brake fluid every now and then or whatever, just keep them lubricated. So basically, I'm going to go over real quick what the calipers, what they entail. It's not terribly too bad. So they're obviously two-piece. So they like that. They bolt together. The front caliper has normal size bolts. I think they were 15. They were a little snug because they had the powder coat on them. So in the rear is an Allen socket. So you have to get something. They were really tight. So a socket would definitely be recommended. I used a normal 3/8, but it had a extender on it, so it had a little more oomph. So when you get these apart, they kind of fall apart. Nothing really crazy about them. Each side has two pistons. They are different sizes. One's bigger than the other. How I get them out? Just take some shop air. Do not go crazy. So just kind of plug the crossover hole off, which is right here, and then you can put some shop air where the bleeder goes. But do not go crazy because they do have some pressure if they're a little snug, and they will shoot out. Put a rag down, otherwise it could take your finger off. So yeah, just be careful when you do that. And then there's two seals. There's the dust boot that goes over the piston. That's really, that may come out with the piston when you put some shop air to it. But if it doesn't, they just pop in. They just kind of ride this little spot right here, so it's no big deal. And then you have a second O-ring, which is your sealing O-ring. So it basically sits down in that groove. There's a groove down in there. They just kind of sit down in there. So if you look at a screwdriver or a pick or something, you can easily pop them out. So that's nothing crazy. I did get the rebuild kits. Come with all the seals you need, except for one. There's a crossover seal in here that goes right in here. I do recommend replacing that if you separate the calipers, just in case something you just upset something. You don't want to reuse anything. Don't reuse your rubber, kids. It's bad. Just get new ones. So the kits I got from Import Image Racing. I think the front was $100 and the rear was about 80. That is Brembo. This is an actual Brembo Rebuild kit. So, but the crossover pipe, crossover O-ring. Do some Googling. You can find them. They're pretty easy. But definitely replace it. Especially you don't want to leave that in there if you get it repowder coated. It could possibly, when they bake it, it could possibly do some damage. So yeah, like I said, it was fairly easy to do this. Like I said, just be cautious with the air when these guys want to come out, because they do have some pressure behind them, and they could shoot out. So save your face and save your piston, because good luck finding one of those, I bet. And just be careful of the threads and the bleeder screws, that we don't have any damage to your caliper, and you can get on with your life and not have any issues. So in the last video I made, just an introduction to myself, I gave a shout out to Import Image Racing, Airflow Dynamics, and Chase Bays. But there is a guy I forgot. He's a big contributor to the build. Busted Finger Motorsports out of, I think, Virginia. Good guy. I known about him for a while. He's got an eBay store that he rebuilds turbos, but this is my VF39 that I sent down there for the wastegate crack, which is very common for the STI. He fixed me right up, and then he noticed some other stuff. It was all rusty underneath, and he's like, dude, can I just rebuild it? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then real good guy, helped me out quite a bit, and he coated everything, coated the hot side and the cold side, so it'll last a lot longer. But it's very, very, I got some dirt on it, but very, very good work. Looks very professional. So it's Busted Finger Motorsports. Sports. He's got a website, and then he's on eBay store and all that. So that's about it. So I appreciate it. Hopefully, I answered some questions or whatever. And like I said, if you need to get a hold of me for anything, it's Boostin_DC at Instagram and then here on YouTube. Thank you guys.